From broke to boss, I flipped the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation made me live the dream.
Man, really jump in, buy the truck, get everything going, spend the money, insurance, and you know, that whole laundry list that comes up with getting started, only to find out that OTR driving is not for them, man. It just isn't. And, you know, as grand opening and grand closing, becoming an owner operator, here's the truth on when to pull the trigger. All right, so this video is going to be about company drivers understanding if they got what it takes to become an owner operator, because a lot of guys hesitate, which means they miss some opportunities.
Yep. So what do you think is that we're looking for?
He's a little nervous.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, like, all right, like, so what's a holdback?
No, so there's a couple of things that are gonna, I think that people have to consider. It's not gonna be the price of trucks. It's not gonna be the market condition. It's not just that. We're talking about the individual's experience and skill set. So imagine that guy that's that company driver, right? And he already understands, like, let's say he's running 3 weeks out before coming home, or even 4 weeks out. He's putting in that work and effort because he knows it's tied to his check. That skill right there can transfer over to an owner operator, because an owner operator needs to give that to his own company. So he's doing it for someone else when he can be doing that for himself.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we see the reverse of that.
Yeah, that's right. Like, a lot of times you'll see company drivers give everything to that company, and after many years of service, you're kind of getting tired and worn out, and then you're like, you know what? Let me find an easier way not to burn out. So I'll buy a truck, and the freedom I get with that, I can slow this down a little bit.
And then it's a disaster.
Yeah, it is, for sure. So what we're talking about here is exactly that, especially those guys that are paying attention. Let's say you're really paying attention to the regulations and the rules. You're not running illegal. You actually give your current dispatcher some resistance if they're trying to dispatch you, either, you know, you having to violate your hours of service, or the truck is something's wrong on the pre-trip, and you're like, hey man, I'm not moving this truck in that fashion. So you're protecting your PSP. That is an important skill as well when it comes down to it being an owner operator, because now you're actually protecting, you know, at that point, your business. So you already have that hard skill in order to translate it over to owner operator.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, in both cases, that should be a thing, because you know, if you're just following the rules, well, when you're a driver and then you're burning it all to the ground when you're an owner operator, it's already broken. I think generally speaking, this should not be the decision-making point. The only difference that I see between a driver and an owner-operator is, as an owner-operator, you're gonna be a lot more, how would they say that? A lot more thoughtful of the cost of some repair that needs to happen. And you would be willing to take a little bit more risk. Let's say, instead of bringing the road service in, making it to the shop. I'm not talking about no ignorance and just ignoring the equipment, driving with illegal truck. No. I'm not talking about none of that. Like, all that shit should be put to bed regardless. Driver, owner, operator, it doesn't matter. But if your tire blows and there is a shop 5 miles down the road, as a driver, you know, it's not going to be very cool, but like you're going to have a luxury to say, nah, man, I'm not driving 5 miles, we're blown out.
Yeah, but I mean, the ability you have to have the skill set to solve problems. So that, and to your point, without, you know, not being ignorant about it. However, the skill set to be able to know cause and effect. So if you have a true understanding to make the judgment call, whether I can creep it up to here or I cannot, because you really understand what type of violation may come with it. It's just right here, self-awareness, that ability, that skill to be able to, you know, think your way out of a problem is, if you're doing that right now, if you're doing more thinking than your dispatcher to solve a problem, you're probably ready.
No, absolutely. 100%. I agree.
All right. Pardon me. And then we talk about lifestyles and conditions. A lot of that, guys, I think it's important to bring up, man. I've had several owner-operators throughout the years of me doing this. Man, really jump in, buy the truck, get everything going, spend the money, insurance, and you know, that whole laundry list that comes up with getting started, only to find out that OTR driving is not for them, man. It just isn't, and you know, as grand opening and grand closing. So I think giving yourself a few, a year out there doing that, you're exposed to the elements, you're touching it, you're tasting it, and now you know for sure that you can handle it, and now jump in.
Well, at the same time, you know what, like, I think that's just like, in my opinion, like, hate it if you want, but in my opinion, that's just weakness, because if I'm using the money, like my family's money, right? Pulling them from the family's bank account, getting a truck, establishing everything, just to find out that OTR is not for me. Bitch, OTR is for me. At that point. I just discovered my new love, OTR, because I think it's just we're talking about responsibility.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all it is.
But this is, and again, man, like flexibility, right? What is the flexibility? So if you're understanding the flexibility as a company driver, right, and you've been at it for a year, and you haven't had the mindset to be able to go explore whatever, man, the regional, the OTR, and all that good stuff. Like, that's the time to get exposed to all of that. So it's a non-issue the minute you decide to make that kill switch.
Absolutely. I think some people just we grab onto the idea. Somebody maybe talks them into it. A cousin who's an owner-operator, a friend, a neighbor, or whatnot, and we fall in love with that idea. Mm-hmm. And then, we're in love with that idea so much without giving any thoughts. We just jump in it. And then all of a sudden we discover, oh my God, there is work involved.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's so easy to do what? It's so easy to blame the market condition. It's so easy to do this. It's so easy to do that. And especially if a guy's been a company driver, right? And let's say he's on some dumbass dedicated lane and people love that, right? And now you want to buy a truck and replicate that. Yeah, and not really understand everything that comes with having that type of set of work and everything. Like, you're not just going to replicate that. You're going to have your own journey. You're going to have your own issues, your own problems, and you got to go through that growing pains, man.
Because what a lot of people, I think, don't understand is, first of all, we see that dedicated lane as some sort of like, perfect lane with, that pays perfect money. As a matter of fact, not money, gold bricks, like the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. What we do not understand from a driver's position, that you are just one unit in the fleet. Are you sure that unit is actually making money for a fleet? Or that unit is just fleet's collateral damage, saying we're going to give that customer this truck so we can get all these real loads, and that real work looks nothing like that bullshit that you do.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are way above it, so we understand. Okay, we're gonna take a hit on this one, and now that driver thinks that, oh my God, I'm making all the money for everybody. We have it just because of me.
And I mean, then not just that. Like, even understanding. Like, let's say your company guy like that, you go on vacation. Your biggest concern is that you have enough PTO accrued to take time off. You're not worried about who's covering the load while you're not there. What is the on-time service while you're not there? And again, it's not your problem. I understand that. But if you're going to change the name of the game and become an owner-operator, these things are now your problems to solve. That's my only point.
Yep, absolutely.
So you have to consider all of that. But I mean, it could be big and scary, but people do it all the time. So if you're that guy, you're that company driver who's looking for more, wondering if you have what it takes. I mean, a lot of stuff that we're talking about here, if you're smarter than that average bear on your fleet, probably got what it takes.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I would just say, like, at least for me, it was like that. Once you start breaking other people's equipment, you're ready. No, for real. Like, I know, like, a lot of people are gonna hate that shit, but however, I broke somebody's equipment probably a little bit.
Okay.
I remember for sure probably tore up those 8 tires, man, on the trailer. Still remember it. But regardless, somebody else did that to me so many times, man. So I paid my dues.
There you go. Pay your dues.
I paid my dues. But at the end of the day, once you, if you're no longer breaking shit, you're ready to go as long as your work ethic is there. Because it's not like you're going, to study, to a college to be a diesel mechanic meanwhile, and only once you finish that, then you're gonna be, becoming an owner operator. None of that is happening, right?
No.
So at the end of the day, you're still gonna be repairing the truck in the shop for the most part, unless something very small, very minor here and there, right? So if you're no longer breaking other people's equipment, you're good to go in my book.
Here we go, guys. So, just get a plan, get it done, and get out there and do it. All right, guys. Any kind of questions, concerns, or anything like that in regards to company drivers becoming owner-operators, it's 863-342-5171. We're willing to share a lot of information to make you that much stronger.
Yeah, and please like, share, subscribe, because we got to break this 250 subscriber mark.
Yeah, I need 250.
All right, guys. Take care.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards, top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable, to plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call, 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.